Welcome back to Bassman TV. Today I am going to be going over the 3 stages of when a largemouth bass spawns, and that's going to be the pre-spawn and the spawn and post-spawn. The first stage is pre-spawn. It can be probably the best time of the year to go out and go fishing. That's usually around late winter, and when the temperatures usually get around 55, 60, and that's typical temperatures for my lake. I don't know if it's different for your lake. It could be different, but that's how it is for my lake. And that's when the bass start feeding up on crawdads mostly. Not really any bluegill. They could go for bluegill, and they could go for shad or golden shiners. I know that's a big deal at my lake too. They'll feed up on those, but probably the best lure to throw during that time of the year is a Senko, because they're definitely going to be feeding up, and they're going to be pretty much eating anything to get fat for the spawn. I know this year I have caught my second biggest bass ever during the pre-spawn, and I know that was a fact because it was a female and she was full of eggs. She was definitely feeding up for the spawn, and it was around that typical 55, 60 degree water temperature is when I caught her. What's key here is you really need to know the migration routes of after the pre-spawn. They'll go up in their migration routes, and they'll go where they were originally hatched. It's like with salmon. When salmon get hatched from a certain area and they go back out in the ocean and then they come back to their same exact area, that's what we're talking about here. The bass do the same thing, but not from the ocean. They just do it in a simpler version from their winter areas of where they've been hiding in deep water during the winter, and they'll come up to where there's shallow flats and where they've spawned before. What you want to do if you don't know anything about the migration routes is you want to find big creek arms or creek channels. You want to find those, and that's where they're going to be traveling up to get on the shallow flats. The next stage is the spawn, and this is where a lot of things get interesting, and this is my favorite time of the year to go fishing because I can sight fish for the bass in the water, and you can literally see them right down by your feet or right by the bank. That's typically where they'll be at, and it's around that 65, 70 degree water temperatures when they're fully on beds, and males are protecting the fry, and they're protecting the eggs and all that. And what the spawn is pretty much when a bass and a female partner up together, and the female starts laying their eggs and the male fertilizes those eggs. What's made this video so special is I've gone out to my local lake and I've gotten certain footage of that process happening, and I want to go over that footage right now, and I want to show you guys that whole process of how it's happening. And lucky enough for me, I have gotten a 5-pound female and a probably 1.5 pound male partnered up together doing that process of the spawning. And when they spawn is right before a full moon every time. That's what it is at my local lake. Every time during a full moon is exactly when they lay their eggs, because they get the most light penetration to their eggs so they can hatch faster. As I'm going over this footage, the first thing we're going to be looking at is the very beginning of the spawn process of when a male comes up onto a bed and starts making his bed, fanning away the bottom so it's very hard and the eggs can stick down onto that bottom, that hard bottom. And they will wait until a female comes up onto the bed, and they'll just sit there and wait and protect that area of the bed until the female comes around and lays her eggs. So what we have here is a small, probably 2-pound largemouth. Oh, there he is. He's coming right over the top of the camera. That is so cool. That is awesome. Oh my god. It looks like a giant fish, but it's only 2 pounds. And I did catch this fish while the camera was, well, the camera wasn't in the water, but I did catch this fish previously. And right here is where he starts. You can see here he's coming up onto the bed right here, and he's being very cautious because he knows I'm right there, obviously, and he knows that I'm probably gonna pitch in the lure or something, because these bass are smart. They're a lot smarter than you think, especially when it comes up to the spawn. And right here is where he's getting comfortable, protecting his bed. I think my camera is like literally on his bed because you can see the hard bottom right there. And I don't know if those are, what the heck? I think there's already eggs laid down there, down on the bottom, because there's like little yellow eggs. You can see them all over the ground. What the heck? They're like little peas, you know? That's what the eggs look like. They're like little yellow dots. So cool. It's literally right there next to the camera. He's right on top of it. Wow, that's crazy. That's how you know he's comfortable, and that you can tell I'm literally on top of his bed because that's the area he's protecting right now. You can definitely see the eggs are right there. I'm pretty sure the eggs are already laid. Wow, that's unbelievable. That's the very beginning part of where a bass starts protecting the area until a female comes up. Or if the egg's already laid, he'll just stay right there. And this is the part where not a lot of people will come across the male protecting the bed and that's it. But a lot of people don't experience when the male and the female are both on the bed, because that's kind of extremely rare to see, and it's very hard to get a bass when it's spawning on a bed, when they're both on a bed like that. This is where the female is always bigger than the male, so what we're looking at right here is gonna be a 5-pound female with a 1.5 pound or 2 pound male. And getting right into it, you can see the female quivering a little bit, and that's her shaking out her eggs kind of onto the bed. And what the male does every now and then is he nudges her to do it again and again and again. And you can see another bass in the background, and it's not what you guys are thinking. It's another bass trying to get that female to spawn with her. Right here, watch, you'll see. Boom, just like that. When he hit that other male, he's saying, get the heck off my bed. This is my bed, this is my female, and we're laying eggs, you know? It's like, you don't want, if you're dating a girl, or if a girl was dating a guy, you don't want another guy coming in and trying to steal your girl, or trying to steal your man, you know? It's pretty much just like that. But here, he's back on the bed, and they're back to doing their business. And every now and then you'll see my lure, which I pitch in there, and I try to get these fish, and I never got these fish. Here's my crawdad dropping on their bed right now. This thing is super realistic. This is the new crawdad that I've been trying out. It works very well for beds. But this, I never got these fish to bite my stuff. You can see, like throughout the video, you'll see the fish, or you'll see the male nip at the claws of the crawdad, but he'll never eat the hook. He'll never eat the whole entire thing. And that's because he's just trying to pick it off the bed. And here I'm just bumping the female with my crawdad, the very back, to like kind of piss her off. But it never worked. Usually you can bump in the tail, they'll turn around and they'll try to nip at your stuff, because that's just a instinct they have. Well, they'll just react to it. There she is, just quivering again. She's laying her eggs. That's just such a big female bass. It's crazy. There he's nipping at the female, saying, get back to laying your eggs, start producing them. You can see those little yellow pea dots on the ground, and those are the bass eggs. I don't know if you guys can see them, but they're there. Oh, he just nipped at it really good right there. Wow. There he is, nipping at her, saying, hey, get back to laying your eggs. There he is, nipping at the claws of the crawdad, just trying to get off the bed. He's not actually trying to bite it because he's hungry. Here, he's gonna nip at it right here. It's right there below him. There's the female laying her eggs right there. Boom, right there. He just attacks it. That is so cool. See, I try to piss off the female right there, but she doesn't care. She does not really care for it at all. Listen to the weight on the bottom of the ground. Like, you can hear that weight bang up against everything, and that's what it actually sounds underneath the water. It's crazy. And when I was fishing this area, there was a lot of traffic, and this was like a Sunday that I was filming this, and there was, if you guys know, if you've been to the lake that I fish at, Sunday is, I don't care whatever you say, but Sunday is the most popular day of the week that so many people are at the lake. It's unbelievable how many people show up at the lake. I mean, it's great, it's cool, it's everything. Doesn't really affect the fishing, obviously, but there was so much traffic going in between on this road. And here, I'll show a video of where I was at. You can see all this traffic going in between, and there was people walking by, screaming, yelling, everything, and people blaring their music, and like they had their music hell loud, and you could not hear a single bit of that noise underneath the water. And that's what blows my mind, is that you couldn't hear a single bit of that underneath the water. And that's crazy, because you know there's that myth out there where people say, shh, don't be quiet, someone's fishing over there or whatever, but that's just a myth. Let's get back into the video. Here the female is coming back on the male, on the bed with the male. Oh, there he's nipping at her. He's like, get back to laying your eggs. there she is, like laying her eggs right there. What the male does, he just pretty much fertilizes it. He gets right on top over the eggs and he fertilizes them. And typically the eggs can hatch between like 1 to 3 days. This is usually how it is. And the bass eggs need full penetration of light, so they can't spawn underneath the dock and have eggs there because they need complete light on it all the time for the eggs to hatch. Oh, there he is, nipping at my crawdad. Oh, did you see that? That's him protecting his nest from the eggs. He's like, get off those eggs. And when I was fishing for this bass, this male, I didn't feel a single bit of him like nipping at the crawdad, which is also crazy that I didn't realize that was happening. Ooh, there he is. He has the claw right in his mouth. Both of the claws. Spits it out. You see, I'm going to replay that in slow motion. Did you guys see how fast he spit out those claws? Like, that's how fast you have to react if you wanted to catch that fish. Obviously, you could see where the hook's at. He didn't have the hook in his mouth. But if that did happen, he would spit it out. He'd have it in 1 second, and then next second, boom, spits back out. That's how fast the fish react to that type of stuff. It's crazy. Oh, he just absolutely nailed that jig. Jeez. Dang, that was crazy. So, oh, there he had it right in his mouth. I had him right there. Dang it. See how quick he spit it out? That's how fast it happens. It's just, you have to be so freaking quick to get that fish if you want to catch a bedfish. Now, the next phase after the full moon, if you notice in your lake, there'll be a whole bunch of bass fry on top of the water or near the bank, and that's because they've hatched on the full moon or during the night when they hatched. And once they've hatched, the bass or the male still protects the bass fry, and he'll protect them until they're probably about a certain size, and then he goes off and then he does his own thing. And sometimes when the bass is protecting the ball of fry, he'll eat them. Like, I've only seen that happen when it's like that male's fry, it's not its own fry, or the bass fry. They'll come around and he'll eat the other balls of fry that are nearby its own fry. Just because he's territorial about that. And then after that, what's called the post spawn is when they start feeding up again after they're all spawned out, and you'll notice when they're all spawned out, they'll be super skinny. Really, they won't be fat at all. Like, you'll think the bass is unhealthy, but it's just because it's been going through a lot of stress, and it's done spawning or whatever. And this is during the post spawn is typically when a lot of fishermen like to get out there and they'll want to use their topwaters. And don't get me wrong, that is a really good time of the year to get out your topwaters and go topwater fishing, or catch them on a whopper plopper or frog or something like that. That's probably the best time to use that. That's when I do it sometimes too. But it's just like the pre-spawn. That's when they feed. They feed right before the spawn, and they feed right after the spawn. That's how the spawn, the 3 stages of how a largemouth spawns. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to hit that like button, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe. I know there's a few of you out there that watch my videos aren't subscribed, but make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. You're not going to want to miss better videos in the future. I know I have an even better video than this coming out, believe it or not, but you're going to want to stay tuned for that video. But anyways, keep slapping that bass. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.